Hello and welcome to That Was Golf. My name is Calum MacVicar. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Weekly Review, where we take a look back at last week's results on the various men's and women's golf tours from around the world. We start this week with the Rose Ladies Series. The Rose Ladies Series is a short run of one-day events held across prestigious courses in England, hosted by Justin and Kate Rose. There were 3 events completed this week. The first, Laura Funchstuck beat Kelsey MacDonald and Rebecca Earl in a playoff after all 3 players finished the round on 3 under par at West Lancashire Golf Club. In the second event, amateur golfer Lauren Crump won at Southport and Ainsdale Golf Club, finishing on a score of 2 under par and beating out Laura Funchstuck and Jessica Hall by 1 shot. And after losing in the first event in a playoff, Rebecca Earl sealed victory at the Formby Ladies Golf Club, finishing on a score of 4 under par and beating Becky Morgan on the second playoff hole. The final events in the series will be played at Buckinghamshire and Northants Golf Club on the 6th and 8th of May respectively. On the PGA Tour, it was the Cadillac Championship held at Trump National Doral, the Blue Monster course, in Miami, Florida, USA. Winning here was Cameron Young. A dominant wire-to-wire finish from Cameron Young gave the American a 3rd PGA Tour win and 2nd this season. Even with a 1-stroke penalty in the final round for his ball moving in the fairway, which Young called on himself, he still finished a whopping 6 shots ahead of world number 1 Scottie Scheffler on a score of 19 under par for the tournament. Young now sits 3rd in the FedEx Cup standings and 3rd in the official Golf World Rankings. Over on the Asian Tour, it was a co-sanctioned event with the KPGA. The 45th GS Caltex Making Open, held at Namsol Country Club in Seongnam-si, Gyeonggi-do, South Korea. Winning here was Min Hyuk Song. In a very even contest across 4 rounds, Min Hyuk Song and Ming Yu Cho both finished the tournament on 11 under par, with Song shooting rounds of 68, 69, 66 and 70, and Cho shooting 66, 70, 67, 70. With both players ending on 11 under par, a playoff was needed to separate the 2 South Korean players. In Hoi Her was also on course to make the playoff, but was given a 2-stroke penalty after signing his final scorecard, which he picked up for playing the wrong ball during Saturday's round. Rising star Min Hyuk Song dutifully won the playoff with a par to Cho's bogey, claiming his first Asian Tour win and first win as a pro. Over on the Ladies European Tour, it was the MCB Ladies Classic, held at Constance Belmar Plage, the Legend course, in Post-le-Flac, Mauritius. Winning here was Smaila Tarning Sorenderby. Hosting its first event on the Ladies European Tour, the MCB Ladies Classic Mauritius was won by Danish player Smaila Tarning Sorenderby as she claimed her 2nd Ladies European Tour title. Playing in the final group of the day and with her mum caddying for her, Sorenderby was made to dig deep and deliver a clutch final hole to gain her win, sitting on 13 under par alongside Kaisa Arwefal and Cassandra Alexander, who are both in the clubhouse, hoping for a chance at a playoff. Those chances were dashed when Sorenderby played a beautiful shot into the 18th green for the final time of the tournament, setting up a putt for eagle, which she just missed. A short putt for birdie gave a 1-stroke lead over the field and victory to the Dane. Earlier in the final round, Italian Anna Zanusso shot the course record, a fantastic bogey-free 63 9 under par at the Legend course. On the Clutch Pro Tour, it was the Ashburnham Classic, held at Ashburnham Golf Club in Bury Port, Wales. Winning here was Paul McBride. Only 8 players of the 152-strong field finished the Ashburnham Classic under par, and heading those players on a score of 4 under par was Irishman Paul McBride. His 2-shot lead over Timothy Shin in solo 2nd place gave McBride a huge boost on the order of merit standings to 2nd place after he missed the cut at the opening event on the Clutch Pro Tour. On the Nordic Golf League, it was the Big Green Egg Blekinge Open, held at Trumenos Golf Club in Ramdala, Sweden. Winning here was Martin Lith Simonsen. A flawless final round 64 7 under par that included a very clutch birdie putt on 18 was enough to bring victory to Martin Lith Simonsen by 1 shot over Isak Eriksson Krabbe. A second victory on the tour for Leith Simonsen this season now sees him sitting top of the standings on the Road to Europe Order of Merit. Over on the Japan Golf Tour, it was the Crowns, held at Nagoya Golf Club Weigo course in Togo, Aichi District, Japan. Winning here was Mikumu Horikawa. A superb bogey-free final round of 63 7 under par for Mikumu Horikawa jumped him from tied 4th at the start of the round to winning the tournament, one shot ahead of overnight leader Yusaka Hosano, who struggled to keep bogeys off his card in his final round. For Horikawa, it was his 5th win on the tour, and moves him up to 2nd place on the points and money list on the Japan Golf Tour. Over on the Epson Tour, it was the Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic, held at TPC Scottsdale Champions Course in Scottsdale, Arizona, USA. Winning here was Megan Schofield. Holding off last week's winner Amari Avery by one shot, Megan Schofield finished 11 under par for the tournament and claimed her first win on the Epson Tour. The 2023 US Amateur Champ Schofield moves up to 2nd place in the Race for the Card Seasons Order of Merit, whilst runner-up Amari Avery leads the way in top spot by a considerable margin over the rest of the tour players. On the PGA Champions Tour, it was the second major of the year, the Regions Tradition, held at Greystone Golf and Country Club in Birmingham, Alabama, USA. Winning here was Stuart Cink. Adding his 4th senior title of the year and 2nd successive senior major, Stuart Cink won the Regions Tradition with a 3-shot lead over Australian Scott Hend. In the same week that he was announced as a vice-captain for Jim Furyk's USA Ryder Cup team, Cink put on another dominating display on the senior tour, finishing on a score of 18 under par after rounds of 65, 65, 71 and 69 at the par 72 Greystone Golf and Country Club course. On the KLPGA, it was the first DB Women's Championship held at Rainbow Hills Country Club in Yeomsangun, Chungcheongbuk-do, South Korea. Winning here was Hyunjo Yu. Last year's KLPGA points winner Hyunjo Yu got her first victory of the 2026 season, chasing down and surpassing early leader Kiwon Jo. After opening up a 5-shot lead after round 2, Kiwon Jo looked to be heading to a competitive weekend, but back-to-back rounds of 74 2-over saw her drop to 6 under for the tournament, ultimately opening the door for Yu to win, thanks to a final round 2 under par and ending on a score of 7 under par, one shot clear of 3 players in tied 2nd place. On to the JLPGA, where it was the NTT Docomo Business Ladies, held at Hamano Golf Club in Ichihara, Chiba, Japan. Winning here was Nana Suganama. A very impressive performance from Nana Suganama saw her claim her 4th win on the JLPGA. With only 2 bogeys across the 3 rounds and opening bogey-free 65 7 under, and then rounds of 67 and 66, gave Suganama a final score of 18 under par in a huge lead of 5 shots over Yuna Araki. The win sees Suganama move up to 6th place in the Order of Merit, playing 6 of the 8 events already played this season. On the DP World Tour, it was the Turkish Airlines Open, held at National Golf Club in Belek, Antalya, Turkey. Winning here was Mikael Lindberg. In the conclusion of the Asian swing on the DP World Tour, Mikael Lindberg secured his maiden European win after a weekend full of heavy rain in Antalya. With the rain causing difficulties and bogeys for many players chasing the top spot, Lindberg managed to hold his nerve and make a 2-stroke advantage over the field, finishing on a total of 10 under par. As the leading finisher of the Asian swing, Lindberg also earns himself a spot at the 2nd men's major of the year, the US PGA Championship, which is held in 2 weeks' time. Lindberg also jumps up 28 places in the Race to Dubai Seasons rankings to 7th place. On the All Thailand Tour, it was the Singa Championship held at Rayong Green Valley Country Club in Rayong, Thailand. Winning here was Chang Thai Sudsom. There was no catching Chang Thai Sudsom at the Singa Championship as he sailed to victory. After opening up a 4-shot lead over the field in round 2, Sudsom went on to win by 9 shots, finishing on a score of 18 under par. Starting hole 1 in round 1 with a double bogey and finishing on a 68 3 under par, he then went on to shoot rounds of 64, 66 and 68, with rounds 2 and 4 featuring 0 bogeys. Sudsom jumps to first place on the order of merit for the season after 2 events played. Out on the Alps Golf Tour, it was the Miglianico Alps Open, held at Golf Il Cerreto di Miglianico in Miglianico, Italy. Winning here was Maxime Legros. A second win on the Alps Golf Tour for Maxime Legros came just 2 weeks after his maiden victory at the Dreamland Open. Whilst his win at Dreamland was a little more comfortable where he led wire to wire, the win at Maglianico came from behind the leader as he entered the final round in tied second, 1 shot behind, and finished 2 shots ahead of the pack with rounds of 67, 66 and 66 giving him a final score of 11 under par. On the Tartan Pro Tour, it was the Royal Dornoch Masters, held at Royal Dornoch Championship Course in Dornoch, Scotland. Winning here was Craig Howie. The opening event on the Tartan Pro Tour provided a third pro win and a first win on the tour for Craig Howie. His first pro win in 5 years was captured thanks to rounds of 63, 65 and 69 on the par 70 Royal Dornoch course, giving him a narrow 1-shot lead over Gregor Graham in second place. Final top 10 in Dornoch was first place and winning the tournament on 13 under Craig Howie. Solo second on 12 under Gregor Graham. Solo third on 9 under John Henry. Solo fourth on 7 under Michael Stewart. Solo fifth on 5 under was John Vogopol. Tied 6th on 4 under was Calum Fife, Fraser Moore, Jonathan Keith and John Patterson. And tied 10th on 3 under was Thomas Matthews, Paul O'Hara, James Wilson, Jake Hapgood, Jack McDonald and Will Porter. On the Pro Golf Tour, it was the Haugschlag Nu Open, held at Golf Resort Haugschlag in Haugschlag, Austria. Winning here was Cohen Kuenar. Leading from round 2 through to the final hole in round 3, Cohen Kuenar won the Haugschlag Nu Open with a 1-shot lead over Matthias Gradecki. A second victory on the Pro Golf Tour for Kuenar sees the Dutchman move up to third place in the season's order of merit after 5 events played. And we end this week on the LPGA, where it was the Riviera Maya Open, held at El Camelon Golf Course in Mayacoba, Playa del Carmen, Quintana Roo, Mexico. Winning here was Nelly Korda. Back-to-back wins, a wire-to-wire performance, and an 18th LPGA title all came the way of Nelly Korda this week in Mexico. 2 bogey-free rounds of 67 5 under par in rounds 2 and 3 were sandwiched by an opening 68 4 under and a closing 69 3 under to give Nelly a final score of 17 under par and a cushion of 4 shots over the field. Korda leads the way on the Race to CME Globe season standings by a considerable margin and sits firmly on top of the Rolex Women's World Golf Rankings. Final top 10 in Mexico was first place and winning the tournament on 17 under Nelly Korda. Solo second on 13 under was Arpichaya Yubal. Solo third on 12 under was Yu Lu. Solo fourth on 10 under was Brianna Do. Solo fifth on 8 under was Augusta National Women's Amateur winner Maria Jose Marin. Tied 6th on 7 under was Jody Ewart Shadoff and Carlota Seganda. Solo 8th on 6 under was Su Bin Jo, and tied 9th on 5 under was Carolina Melgrati, Minji Kang, Erika Hara and Melanie Green. And for another week, that was golf. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Weekly Review. If you like what we do here at That Was Golf, be sure to follow us on our socials and subscribe to the podcast to stay up to date with all future episodes, released every Tuesday 7 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time.